This video is part of Project Homecoming 2, Electric Homecoming, where a bunch of historians talk about their own hometowns. Please check out the rest of the videos, for I'm sure they are far better than mine. That's a lot of Civil War stuff. You know, this channel didn't start out about the Civil War. So let's talk Cold War era aerospace defense companies. That's an opening.
We went after a long-range interceptor, and we got one.
James Smith McDonnell and Donald Douglas founded one of the greatest aircraft producers for this nation, and they did it from St. Louis Lambert Airport. Well, of course not. Nothing gets on at Lambert. Let's take a step back. James was an engineer and Princeton graduate who went on to MIT and began working for aeronautical companies. He first tried his own hand in the late 20s, where the economy was booming and things were looking grand.
Long lines of hungry people.
Yeah, that didn't end well. He went on to work for other companies, which included Glenn L. Martin Company, where he worked side by side with Donald Douglas, a fellow MIT grad. But here's where their stories split. Let's follow James since he's a St. Louis supporter. He asked Glenn to found McDonnell Aircraft Corporation in 1939 in St. Louis. The timing couldn't have been better. Now, none of his designs were successful. It did grow during World War II. In an even better timing, it began working on a guided missile toward the mid-1940s. If the war continued on for a while, the Japanese Navy will be the company's greatest advertisement. But with the enemy gone, the company hit tough times. A new foe was needed or else the company would go under.
In Korea, United Nations troops push on in the cautious advance against the communists.
The Eastern excursion proved successful as the McDonnell jets flew off the carriers of our Navy. Its F-H Phantom, F-101 Voodoo, and F-3H Demon were all hits due to their ability to avoid getting hit. But the height of the company was yet to come. David S. Lewis also worked at Glenn L. Martin, but left it because, of course he did. Martin was like a revolving door at the time. And he came to McDonnell with a vision of a jet capable of striking fear and leaving undetected, of controlling the skies and dominating the earth, of having two seats for sexual tension between pilots. The F-4 Phantom, the fighter of the West, the Vietnam veteran, Six-Day War winning, fought in the Gulf War despite being introduced 30 years before that war, the Phantom was a hit. And so was his brother, the A-4 Skyhawk of the Douglas Company. One would hope the two companies would look at each other for the good of the nation, join as one plane-producing powerhouse. But in actuality, the Douglas Company had greatly overestimated their capabilities and merged to fill contractual obligations. McDonnell Douglas, chaired by James and Donald, led by Lewis, went on to make the Tomahawk missile, the Apache helicopter, the F-15 Eagle, and F-A-18 Hornet. But all good things must come to an end, though this was caused by a bad thing coming to an end. The Eastern Bloc began to break in the 80s, and the Soviet Union disbanded in 1991, bringing an end to the Cold War and Cold War military spending. Its civilian production wasn't able to keep up, its NASA projects fell apart, and its transportation planes couldn't compete with Boeing. Dang it, Boeing! In 1997, the two merged. The spirit of St. Louis took a hit. My city is well known for its command of the skies, from Charles Lindbergh, the Nazi sympathizer. Oh, God damn it. But also William Holman, the first ever black helicopter pilot of this fair land, and Janine Leavitt, the first female fighter pilot, the gateway to the West and the guardian of the sky.